Hey everybody, it's White Mojo Wolf here. I wanted to do a special video about God of War Ragnarok. Now, I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time. I just decided that finally now is the time. I kind of gave my initial impressions of the game on one of my previous live streams, and for the longest time, I didn't know if I wanted to do a video because it just seemed like God of War was like the last game I was playing. I was going down a list of games I wanted to play, just knocking them out left and right, down, down, down. But God of War Ragnarok to me just seemed like the game that just kind of stopped me in my tracks because in my initial review of the game on one of my live streams, I would give it an aggressive 7 out of 10. And in contrast, I have a video talking about God of War in 2018, and I talked about how it was one of my favorite games because I played them back in the PlayStation 2, and those games felt like it was about the spectacle because you were a Spartan god and you were fighting these megaliths, and it was just insane action. But I mean, the story was deep, but I felt like God of War 2018, they went like an extra layer deeper, especially being a dad now. I mean, I really clicked with Kratos and Atreus bonding. Of course, I'm not anything like Kratos, but I'm just saying the fact this I felt like their journey was really good, start to finish. You know, not Kratos. Atreus lost his mother, and then the whole point of the game is to go up top of the mountain, spread the ashes. It is a neat bonding experience. So I was curious to see how Ragnarok would top that, because to me, the first game felt like it had just a little bit of everything. The story's a little bit deeper. The combat was a bit more complex. The systems were more deep. The world was more intricate. And, let's see, I felt like some of the bigger fights had that old spectacle. But to me, Ragnarok just, I feel like I was going through the motions when I was playing the game. It's not that it's a bad game, and it's not that it runs really poorly either. It's just, it's more of the same. And I hear this criticism a lot with these sequels. Spider-Man 2, I've heard people say, well, I mean, it's good, but I mean, it's Spider-Man. Horizon Forbidden West, I've heard this feedback as well. But for me, of course, those two games I haven't really got to deep dive just yet, but Ragnarok was my deep dive, and I felt that sentiment because I was like, what do you mean it's more of the same? I thought that was a good thing, right? But now that I played Ragnarok, I get where they're coming from. So I just don't think it was, just wasn't as good as the first game. And this is kind of why I struggle to make a video talking about this, because I don't even, I was just sitting there thinking, I don't even know how to get into it other than it's just the parts of the trade. And I'll tell you this, my gripes are a bit different from what the internet has, because a lot of the angry discourse of the internet was about Angerboda, the Sweet Baby Inc., how they're making the game woke or whatever. And I actually enjoyed the part with Angerboda, and where you got to fight the giant witch, and that whole like dream like state, I guess, of the game was, I actually liked that part. Yeah, there was a lot of riding around, but you know, she was exposing some of the story to you. But I don't know. The combat was fun, but and the puzzles were simple enough. But to me, I can't really pinpoint what it was lacking. It's almost like they wanted to make this a trilogy, but I get why they didn't, because a lot of the middle part of the game, like Fimbulwinter, just kind of dragged on. I felt like what happened was Fimbulwinter dragged on a little too much. That part of the story, like the middle, and then the end just happened real fast. Ragnarok. There you go. Done with the game. A game I would really compare it to is Hogwarts Legacy in terms of pacing and like just my general interest of the game. When I first got Hogwarts Legacy last year, like the first, gosh, I'd say 10 hours, I was hooked because they're teaching you all the systems. They're getting you thrown in the world. They're just starting to introduce everything. But once you're going through the checklist trying to figure out like Act 2 of the whole game, it's just a whole lot of meh. You're going around you're just doing checklist stuff. And like in the story just wasn't really progressing real quick. There was a lot of side tangents and the game was shoving you to do those. Like even God of War, I was sitting there playing it a lot and the stupid chipmunk or Mir or whoever was just sitting there saying, "Are you sure you don't want to go check out that lost crystal cave and blah 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 blah?" No, I don't. I don't. But they were pushing me to do that crap anyway. And honestly, when I explored around the map, I noticed there were a lot of places, even at the start, you could access that were gated by things you unlock later in the game. Which honestly, my opinion is, if you're really going to play this game, bum rush the main story first. And then do a new game plus loop and come back, because you keep all your powers and you get all the equipment you have at the end of the game to the start of the game. And then you can actually explore the map and do the side stuff and access like all the little hidden nooks and crannies. I think honestly that's probably the best way to play this kind of game. But like the middle was a whole lot of nothing, and then the final act just kind of came out of nowhere. You know, it's almost like this. Story's real good, and then it just kind of plateaus for a bit, and then it gets real good, then just drops to the end. And Ragnarok, is as hyped as it was just kind of short to me. And I don't know, but I cut him a lot of slack though, just because it really is hard to make a sequel. I mean, it's hard to make a sequel to like a hit movie. It's hard to make a sequel to a hit album, a game, a story, like a written story or a comic or whatever. But I felt like it was safe. They played it really safe. And to be fair, to be devil's advocate, who's to say if they tried different things, the internet would lambast them for that? And I think a lot of the problem with these new AAA games is that they cost so much money and they take so much time that the industry is very risk adverse right now. They really don't want to take risks. They just want to play it safe, give you just a good solid, here's more of the same. Now pay $70, please. So That's just my take of it. Like, it's just an aggressive 7 out of 10. I felt like I was going through a lot of the motions in the middle of it, and the Atreus parts weren't too bad, but basically what would happen, and it would drive me nuts, is like as soon as I got comfortable with using Kratos' abilities, it would swap me to Atreus. And then, I'd kind of get used to playing as Atreus. They're a little bit different play styles. Then it swapped me right back to Kratos. It just drove me nuts. But the game runs good. The game looks good. It's a solid 7 out of 10. But honestly, don't pay full price for it. Just watch for a sale. I paid $35 for my copy, and I feel like that's a fair point. 35-ish. Yeah, that's a fair price point. But, the studios will have you think otherwise, but not me. So, hey. That's one of the good things about being a patient gamer, huh? So I just wanted to do like a quick video just to kind of shake the rust off a little bit. And actually, I think I'm going to premiere this video after the one I'm about to record, if that makes sense. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know what I thought of God of War Ragnarok, just because I said I would, and I just kind of wanted to get the gaming journal back going a little bit, because I have been playing a few games, and I feel like I'm past that phase to where I'm trying a bunch of games and throwing them aside. I think I kind of found a few I want to like really dive into. So other than that, that's what Mojo Wolf talking to you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.